Hi there. I talk a lot lately on this channel about compromise and how the politicians in the United States, for the most part, have really had a problem with compromise, a large level issue with compromise. And when it comes to medical facts, oh my heavens, people sit on this little pedestal like they know everything. There is a lot of different research, different research on a lot of different medical topics out there. And then on top of that, you have a lot of different interests that are involved. So do you see how it becomes super, super, super murky to determine adequately, which research can be seen as credible and which is seen to have influence behind it. And that's where a lot of these disagreements on these medical topics come from. Is this is the facts because these people say that this research has proven da da da, and then other people are looking at it and saying, whoa, 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 this is going on, and this kind of, these money influences are behind this, and the other side is saying, no, it's a mess. And the lack of compromise is not getting us anywhere. So years ago, when I had my first child, 12 years ago, I'm kind of a crunchy mom, so I was researching vaccinations, and I came across a lot of disturbing bits of information, and I thought, no, it's not worth the risk. At that time, the conservatives were not really the ones who were questioning vaccinations. Most people were not. 12 years ago, it was very fringe. And typically, those fringe people who were questioning vaccinations were typically ultra crunchy liberals, like old school liberals. And I got so much flack, and I didn't always handle myself the best. I had moments where I responded to other people with rage. Nobody likes to be controlled, and nobody likes to be told what to do, though. And I knew that that was the right decision for my family and for my children. The baby that was growing inside me, I knew that that was not the right choice. And so here, fast forward, it's like this bizarro Twilight Zone reversal. 12 years, hit the fast forward button. And now we're in this situation where a lot of the conservatives now see the importance of vaccine choice. I don't like to say anti-vax because that's not how it works. That's a manipulation soundbite. Vaccine choice. Pro-vaccine choice. RFK is not anti-vaccine. He's pro-vaccine choice. There is a difference. And while I'm glad to see more and more people seeing the importance of allowing vaccine choice because there are side effects with those preventative medications, and there is a vaccine adverse event reporting system, which there's many of those don't get investigated, those reports of injury from vaccinations. So when we're thinking about a preventative medicine, you have a healthy baby, that's why it needs to be a choice. But what the conservatives are now doing that is the same kind of energy, and that's why I'm saying it's like the freaking Twilight Zone, is we have an increase in people being transgender. And I do see I try to see both sides as neutrally as possible. And what I can see with a lot of the conservatives is their own prejudice is behind a lot of their perspectives on this. While it's true, hormone blockers are a medication, there's conservatives that are saying, oh, they're pushing these because they want to make money. The drug companies want to make money. That's not the case with all drugs out there. Vaccinations, yes, I do agree a lot of that has to do with it. But hormone blockers, no, I don't think that that's the case. And the problem with all of this, too, is that the real reason for the rise in people having gender dysphoria is not being scientifically looked at. I am going to mark my words. Mark my words. There is going to be scientific advancements that are going to show that the rise in gender dysphoria has to do with gestational influence of different toxic chemicals, particularly phthalates, during a certain gestational stage, about 14 weeks-ish, when that surge of testosterone comes in to form the male sex organs. That the phthalates inhibit that process on a spectrum. Mark my words. It's environmental chemicals that are causing the rise in people being transgender. So if you look at it in those terms, how can you not have compassion? How can you not soften and get the prejudice out of this and say it's all a bunch of woke mental nonsense? Do you see how unscientific and how unhelpful that is? So and there's this mass hysteria on the conservative side saying, everybody's trying to be transgender. Parents are mutilating their kids. Most people are not doing the hormones. I mean, most people who have trans kids, that's not really what's going on. Certainly not the surgeries. You have to wait until you're 18 anyway, as far as I'm aware. That's mass hysteria, as far as everybody is mutilating their kids. Now, you need to, again, get your fingers, your sticky little fingers, out of people's lives. When it comes to the vaccination choice issue, it used to frustrate me to no end that so many people wanted to get into people's little parenting lives and sticky little fingers and say, you have to do this. And now on the other end, it's the conservatives understanding that argument, but getting their sticky little fingers in people's personal lives. Now, when it comes to hormone blockers, the only adverse side effects, they've been using blockers for a long time in children. It's been looked at. The problem is because conservatives don't think gender dysphoria has an actual physiological base, they don't think it should get any kind of medical treatment. You're going to find out that that's wrong. It's from the chemicals. Now, it is true that you're going to find this out, that spectrum, that effect on that baby's hormonal system is on a spectrum. And so some people feel kind of gender neutral and they're not really sure what's going on. Those people should not be transitioning. And that's why I can understand. Guess what? I can compromise. I'm okay with saying no to male and female hormone treatments for kids under 18. I'm okay with that. There's already, you have to be over 18 to get, as far as I'm aware, any kind of surgeries involved with gender treatment. So that's already there, guys. As far as the hormone blockers, the reason why those need to remain in place is because it buys people time. And if you don't give a child who's born male, who feels female, this is not psychological, this is physiological based, identifies as female due to those changes gestationally, not due to woke mental nonsense, then their body is going to change dramatically. Some of them are going to start growing a lot of facial hair. It's different. All kids are different, but their bodies are going to look very masculine. And what's going to happen is those kids who that gestational phase was so heavily affected by those toxic chemicals that they just feel so strongly as a female, it's going to cause them psychological distress, that they look masculine. The conservatives who discriminate against transgender people, which don't tell me that it isn't discrimination, they're gonna judge and discriminate because they're gonna see that person is obviously transgender, and they're gonna continue to discriminate. If you want people to be more open to not doing hormone blockers for their kids, then stop discriminating against transgender people. You're adding to the problem. So, like I said, I can compromise with that, waiting to be able to allow any kind of gender transition hormones till after the age of 18. I'm on board with that. I can understand why, because the changes physiologically are pretty severe when you start to do those hormones. And if that person decides later on down the road, you know what, that's not quite right for me, then they're stuck with these medical changes, the physiological changes from the effects of those hormones. So I can understand that part. But I don't understand this push to get rid of the hormone blockers for gender dysphoria. You need to support the bone health. what they're doing is they're waiting till they're giving puberty a head start for these kids so that the body gets that boost in its development. They're you're supposed to start doing these bone support supplements and things like that. They're not doing this in a wanton way like people are saying. And so because this, you're gonna see this is an actual physiological condition for people. And because we're still learning about it, there's a lot we have to learn, leaving that as an option. Once you get off of those blockers, your body's going to continue on with its puberty. It doesn't cause all these negative effects like people are saying. That is not true. The hormones do. And that's why I'm okay waiting. I think if you want to make it so that you have to be over 18, fine. That's okay. But with the blockers, that is not something that the government should be intervening on. That should be between the doctor, the parent, and the patient. And don't do the same thing that the vaccine people said. Don't say that you know better than the parent and the doctor does for that individual person. Get out. Leave people alone. I think this is why I'm getting so frustrated, is everybody's trying to get in each other's freaking business all the time. Get out of each other's business. Get out of each other's parenting. Get out. If there's no RAPE or there's no any kind of physical criminal stuff like that going on, and do not tell me that supporting somebody who's feeling gender dysphoria is in that same category, because it is not. Then just get out of the way. We need to learn more about this gender dysphoria issue. Banning transgender people from joining the military, tax-paying citizens, that is discrimination. You're saying that there's something wrong with these people, and that as tax-paying citizens, they are not allowed to join the military. I think I'm more of a pacifist anyway, so it's not that big of a deal for me personally. But there might be some transgender people out there who are really frustrated and disappointed by this. I'm politically neutral. Go back and watch a few of my videos. I call out the Democrats all the time. I'm tired of the fighting. I'm tired of the getting in each other's personal lives. This is personal for me. I've had a front row seat. And I'm telling you guys, you're wrong when you're saying that people are transgender because they were abused, or people are transgender because of the woke mind virus, or anything like that. There's a physiological aspect to this. For eons, human beings have been subjected to lots of different trauma, lots of different ideologies. I had lots of trauma as a childhood. And the rise in transgender people happened, and it correlated with the rise in these phthalates in the environment. That's what they're going to show and find if they start looking at this. There's a physiological component to this. Stop with the discrimination. Stop with the judgment. Stop running with it's all the woke mind virus. You're making it worse. That's not scientific. Let's bring the science. You know what? I would have voted for RFK Jr. The only reason I voted for Trump was because RFK was going to partner up with him, and the deep state needs to be exposed. But I don't agree with some of the things that Trump is doing. And he needs to calm down. And all the rest of you who are like with them on the transgender people, or it's the woke mind virus, stop. Please think about this. You might be wrong. And I think that you are wrong. And I think that it's going to be proven. So get out of each other's lives when it comes to this medical stuff. I don't know how like we could swing, the pendulum can swing so far. I don't know how so many people can lack such obvious self-reflection. This first week of the Trump administration has rocked me and a lot of other people. There's too much fighting. There's too much digging of heels on both sides. The Democrats have not helped the situation at all either. You guys, stop fighting and start listening to each other. And RFK, please, he has got to get in there as the health secretary, because I think he's the one person who would actually adequately look at this transgender issue in a scientific way and allow unbiased research on the topic. That's what we need, is unbiased research. We need to get rid of the taboo where we can't look at this as a medical issue with people being transgender, because that's what we have to be looking at. And please stop with the discrimination. There's my rant on the complete hypocrisy and the complete Twilight Zone reversal as somebody who saw through the issues with vaccination 12 years ago and who was a total outlier. And now it's the pendulum's swung in the complete other direction, and conservatives are having a huge blind spot in that area, but at least they're understanding the importance of vaccination choice. Watching the Senate confirmation, the Democratic, it was all about vaccines for them. Oh, you're going to take away our vaccines. He's never once said he's going to take away vaccinations. Why is that such a triggery subject for them? Why is people having choices in vaccination so triggery for them? Why is he, wanting to have actual unbiased, research regarding that so triggery for them? Guys, this madness it's unbelievable. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and like and subscribe, and bye for now.